Ask yourself this one question. What do you value when it comes to growing a garden? Are you the type of person who likes to get your hands dirty? Are you the type of person that likes to pull weeds, dig up grass? Are you the type of person that lives in an area that you cannot grow a garden outside? Maybe you live in a northern climate where it gets so cold most of the times of the year that it's virtually impossible for you to grow even tomatoes. Or are you the type of person that lives in a homeowners associated area where it's so strict they wouldn't even let you dig a grass up in your yard even if you wanted to? Or what if you're the type of person that values taking care of the environment? You value organic gardening. You value using organic fertilizers, organic pesticides, organic fungicides to take care of your plants as well as being kind to the environment? Or do you value being more control of how your food is produced, and you value having a nice vine ripened juicy tomato that you can just pick right off of that plant and just put it right into your mouth and just feel that sweet juice just trickling down your cheek? Is that what you value? The answers to those questions actually depends on you. It depends on what you value and what is most important to you. I can tell you how hydroponics works. I can tell you what makes hydroponics work, but your values is your why. Why do you want to grow with hydroponics? That is the question you should be asking yourself. Why? What are your values? What do you care about most when it comes to gardening? That is your why. That right there is going to answer the question to whether hydroponics is better for you or if traditional gardening is better. If you live in a very cold climate, like up in Canada, right? It has a much shorter growing season than versus Florida. The time that you have to be able to grow your tomatoes from seedlings to all the way to full producing fruit, it really varies. It also varies in the varieties too. But these two extremes, you're talking two extreme climates. Canada would be a better place when it comes to where it's growing with hydroponics because they can grow all of their produce or whatever in a protected environment. Versus down in Florida, it may get too hot and everything to be able to grow stuff in a greenhouse, but that doesn't mean that you cannot grow your own produce inside of your own house. See, that's one of the other advantages hydroponics has. And also with hydroponics, if you don't mind using mineral salts to be able to grow your plants with, then hey, hydroponics is for you. Also, if you're a more meticulous type of person who likes to be in more control of what kind of nutrients your plants get, and you also do not want to use fertilizers in your ground, you don't have the time to dig up your soil, your HOA won't allow you to do such things, then hydroponics is for you. But the main thing that boils down to it all is your values. What do you value about gardening? Why do you want to grow a garden? What do you want to grow in your garden? That all depends on your why. I cannot tell you what your why is. Let me tell you my story. I grew up in Savannah, Georgia. I grew up traditional gardening. My grandmother, my neighbor, my mom, they all taught me gardening. But we always did it the traditional way, using fertilizers and using organics, planting everything in the soil. But see, there was one little problem that I had. I hate snails and slugs. I really hate those things. I hate them so much. Now, for my situation, I really did not like growing in the soil because I hated snails and slugs. When I see them, I panic. I have a PTSD to dealing with those things. Fast forward years later, here I am living in Kansas City, Missouri, and I have my garden growing in containers. My containers are literally raised almost a foot to 2 feet off the ground because I don't want my containers having any contact with the ground, and I do not want those little slimy critters getting into my plants and messing with my garden. Now, me and my family were blessed. I was able to move from Kansas City, Missouri to Great Falls, Montana. Why did I move to Great Falls, Montana? Well, because I served in the Air National Guard. Before I did that, I served active duty Army. I was blessed to go active duty Air Force. My family and I were uprooted from Kansas City, Missouri to Great Falls, Montana. And this had presented an even bigger problem. The bigger problem was, in Great Falls, Montana is a much shorter growing season. It can snow any time of the year there. It can snow in June, July, August, September. It didn't matter. It can snow there. And if you're growing tomatoes outdoors and you're not prepared for it, guess what? Your plants are going that quick. So I had no knowledge or anything about growing any type of indoor gardens or whatever, but I had to make a choice. Should I walk away from gardening entirely, or should I adopt a new method of gardening? I chose the latter. I chose to grow with hydroponics. I got it in the books. I read everything I could, and I began to study and understand about hydroponics and how everything worked. I had a lot of hiccups along the way, but eventually I settled down on the point of using a passive hydroponic system that I still use to this day called the autopot system. And to this day, I grow with hydroponics indoors because I like to have the ability to have fruits and vegetables, tomatoes or whatever, any time of the year indoors, and I don't have to be at the mercy of the climate. I don't have to be at the mercy of the weather. I don't have to be at the mercy of the temperatures. I can pretty much grow what I want, when I want, how I want, any time of the year without having to worry about what's going on outside. So that is my situation, and that is why I have adopted hydroponics, and that's why I still use hydroponics to this day. What may work for me may not work for you, but you have to look at your values and you have to understand why you want to grow with hydroponics or with traditional gardening. Whatever your values are, that really determines which is best. I hope this video helps you out in determining which direction you should go in. I'm John Jr. This is the Emerald Thumb. Take care of yourselves. God bless. Bye-bye.